Welcome to CultureCast. I'm Dustin Homan, and joining me are a few guests, and we are broadcasting live from the Global 4-H Summit here in Ottawa, Canada. This is the second annual summit. The first one was held in South Korea, and as I mentioned earlier, the second annual summit being held here in Canada. Over 35 countries are represented by nearly 500 delegates from all over the world connected with the 4-H organization. 4-H is a positive youth development organization with over 7 million youth involved across the world. I'm very honored to have some special guests with me today, one of whom is returning from our last interview. She brought so many views last time, we thought we'd bring her back due to popular demand. So Clara is going to be joining me again. And also with me are two guests. I've been practicing their names, so we're going to see how I do here. Sheremeti didn't do it. I should just let these people introduce themselves. From Pakistan, Clirim.
Yes, pretty close.
Close enough, yeah. All right, and from Kosovo. So I'm going to let them provide some short introductions about themselves, about what 4-H looks like in their country, and then we'll moderate some questions and answers with them about time at the conference as well as cultures in their country as well. So we'll start with you.
Okay, great. So my name is Sheremeti. Okay, so I'm from Pakistan, the capital, Islamabad. 4-H was established in Pakistan like 2 years ago, and I have been the president of the club for the past 1 year. So first, I would like tell you about our club. So we have 4 sub-clubs, arts and science, we have community service, and we have media. We have heads for like every club, right? So we have a meeting every month that we decide to what projects we should do, and we approve it. Like the presidents and the vice presidents. There are 2 presidents and there are 2 vice presidents. So they approve we approve the projects, and the team works on the projects the entire month. Then at the end of the month, there is a showcasing. It's either we could either use it for fundraising, or we could either use it for donation purposes, right? So yeah, that's how we operate in Pakistan right now, and it's been 2 years only. So yeah.
And why did you choose to get involved with the 4-H organization?
Actually, it was a new idea because the other clubs in our school were not that interesting, because they were dramatics and debating and all that. That's too mainstream, right? So I had to try something new.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm Clirim, as you went pretty close to that. I'm the founder of 4-H in Kosovo. We're the youngest 4-H program, so we've only been up and running for 6 months now, and it's been going great. We've only opened 2 clubs so far, as we were testing things out, seeing what could work, what could not. And the kids are really interested in leadership, teamwork, team management, project management, those kinds of stuff. We're really hoping to have 4-H in our country as a long, sustainable program, because it could really help the kids become the leaders that our country needs.
And same question to you. Why did you join 4-H?
It's actually a pretty funny story, because around this time last year, I really wanted to visit Finland. So I found some Finnish organizations online, and I emailed some of them. And actually 4-H in Finland they responded. And I exchanged some emails with Päivi, who is their international affairs officer. She invited me to go there as part of their youth exchange program. And I went there, I saw how the program worked. I saw that it's a global organization. I thought we need to have this in Kosovo.
That's wonderful.
So I decided to bring it back.
So you are one of the founding members of
Yes.
Kosovo 4-H.
Yes.
What a great thing to put on your resume.
Yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely. Now, Clara, we've already had a very in-depth conversation, but please remind the folks your connection to Ohio 4-H, and then how did you end up being here at the summit?
Absolutely. So I was a Ohio 4-H'er for 12 years. I currently work for the international program for Ohio 4-H, and I'm also German. So I grew up in Germany and moved here in about 2000. And so I came to the Global Summit as one of the Ohio 4-H representatives. I am an officer on the 4-H Teen Leadership Council and was offered the opportunity to apply and come here. And I was selected with Emma Knoll to come represent Ohio as well as the U.S. at the Global Summit.
Wonderful.
Emma, you can move the flowers.
We got that on camera. That's good. It's okay. No, edit it. Edit out that last portion about the flowers. So once again, we're here in Ottawa, Canada at the Global 4-H Summit. I've got a stellar panel with me, and so I don't want to do the talking. I want to have them talk about their experience here at the summit so far. We are day 3 of a 4-day summit. So I'm just going to open up the floor. Anyone that would like to answer the question. First of all, just generally, what has been maybe the most surprising thing to you at this summit?
I actually have one, like coming to the summit was the most surprising thing, okay? First, it all started from like when I was like applying for the scholarship, right? So like every other student, like I did it on the last hour, right? So yeah, I like there was like 1 hour left for the applications to be submitted, and I had 2 essays left. So like I literally like I was like my mind was like completely occupied because I had to like go somewhere too. So like I kept my phone to the side. I powered it off. I took off my watch, right? So that would be like distracting for me. And I like started typing and typing and typing. Okay, so the end product was I don't know what. Like I did not really like
enough to get you here.
Yeah, enough to get you here. Yeah. So like yeah, okay,
so what I'm hearing I hear you're promoting procrastination is what I hear you saying. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It did for me. It did for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a few months forward, I was like out with friends at like it was like 12 a.m. right? So I got a message like check your email, right? Because it was the results had come out if I did or did not get the scholarship. Because like 7 people applied and there were like 2 slots.
Mm-hmm.
So one girl had already got it and she'd like checked it, and I had no internet that time, so like I had to go home and check it, right? So I couldn't like just ditch my friends and go home, because if it would have like if it was a denial, that would have been like really embarrassing in front of my friends, right? So I went home, I opened the internet, and like the starting was congratulations, and that was like, oh my god, I had those weird goosebumps like on my neck and all that. So the weird thing that happened after that was like when I applied for the visa, it got rejected, right? I got the email that it's rejected. So yeah, they were like weird reasons, like you don't have a travel plan, you have like not submitted all your documents and all that like crap. It was like completely out of my mind. So yeah, that really broke me like down like that. I couldn't like attend the summit. But like we got into like discussions with the management here, and they like really helped us out. And apparently out of like 7 people that were going to attend the summit, me and a mentor got this visa, like the permit that we could attend it. Like that was like 4 days before the summit. Yeah, that was like a really crazy thing.
You bring up a great point. As Americans, I feel like our passport is really a ticket to the world, but there are other countries around the world you don't have that luxury.
Yeah, true.
And so putting your name in for a visa application is not guaranteed like it often is for Americans. So I think it's a blessing for us, but we forget how much of a blessing it is when we hear stories like that.
Yeah. So my story is pretty much the same. I looked for funds for 3 months all around, private donors, government, everything. No one was supporting me. And when I sent the Global Summit here, like the team, an email that I'm not going to be able to attend, they actually offered me the Summit Award because they really wanted to have me here. So yeah, I was really humbled by that. That was an amazing thing to do. And then I also got my visa 1 week before the summit.
Wow.
So it was crazy. And yeah, it's good that you mentioned that, because I have dual citizenship. I also have Albanian citizenship, and Albania is visa free. So Albanian citizens can travel all around the world, well, in Schengen zones, not all around, without a visa. And that's been really helpful, because I've done a lot of traveling lately, but with my Kosovo passport, it's like really suffocating, because you have to go through the process. It costs a lot because wages in Kosovo are not that high, and you still don't know if you're going to get it or not. So yeah, it's good that you touched on that.
Yeah, of course. And Clara, as an American representative here, what has been inspiring for you in meeting some of these people from across the world?
I think the most amazing thing for me has been just the attitude and the positivity surrounding both 4-H and just meeting everyone from the different countries. Everyone is so thankful to be here and is so appreciative of the experience and the opportunity, as well as the opportunity to talk with those countries that either are still bringing their programs up, like Pakistan and Kosovo, or those of us like the USA and Canada who have established programs, and offering insight and just exchanging ideas and just, what is day-to-day life like in other countries. I think that's just so important and just an amazing experience to have.
Many of our viewers are going to be familiar with the way that 4-H runs in the U.S. Yeah. So often for us, we have traditionally, we've had community clubs, youth members take some type of project. Agriculture has kind of been our background, so livestock projects, but there's also non-livestock projects as well. Tell us a little bit about what 4-H looks like in your country, or what you hope it will look like in the coming years.
Yeah. So do you want to go first?
Sure, you can go first.
Okay, so we already have 2 clubs with 30 members. It's been going pretty well. I talked a little about what the kids like and what they don't. And a lot of their friends have been wanting to join. And some of them that are going to finish their primary school and go to high school, they want to open their own clubs there.
That's great.
So it's actually started to gain momentum, although we're pretty small right now. In the future, we're hoping to expand in all of Kosovo's, not just urban, but also rural areas, and have programs depending on the part of Kosovo where 4-H clubs are. And the main thing that we want to achieve is actually support the educational system through these hands-on practical experiences that the kids are going to get to use in the future.
Can you give us some specific examples of what those projects might look like?
Well, we haven't exactly done projects so far because it's only 6 months, so we haven't had time to develop them and resources either. The work that we're doing is all volunteer-based, but we've been teaching them, because we're volunteers, but we're also community leaders in different projects. So we've been teaching them based on our own experience, but also bringing guest speakers, and we've been listening to TED Talks with them and discussing that on the different topics that I mentioned previously. So they've been finding that pretty interesting.
So you're gathering the youth together and stimulating conversations based on some of these TED Talks and things.
Yeah, so we actually went to the youth. Because I think that if you want to get people engaged in something, this is sort of my advice based on my experience. If you want to get people engaged into something, you don't try to bring them in, but you go to them, you go to where they are, you go to where the attention is. Because I think that's how things work in 2017. So there's no meeting place and you're hoping that people are going to come. You go to where people are, and then you present what you have to. So we went to the schools and we opened school clubs there, and we got kids that were already engaged in some other school clubs and were interested in doing this, if I can call it, experimental stuff, because we were still trying to figure out what would work, what would not. And so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And one thing what I heard you say, and one thing I like about the 4-H concept, is it's adaptable to the local culture.
Exactly.
So, for instance, in the U.S., we typically have community clubs, but it sounds like the clubs in Kosovo may work a little bit better as school, or what we may refer to as extracurricular clubs, depending on the situation.
I think that's one of the things that makes 4-H really unique, and it makes it a really powerful organization, the fact that you have these principles. So 4-H obviously stands for Head, Heart, Hands, Health, and you have to follow that. But then you have the freedom to develop programs based on what your country needs. So you don't have to do, because Kosovo works differently from the US, right. And then US is different from Finland, and then Finland from South Korea. So the world is different. You have to respect diversity, you have to respect culture, but there's still problems in every community to be solved. So that freedom to actually try to tackle the problems based on the knowledge that you have about your local community is actually what makes 4-H really great.
And tell us a little bit about 4-H in Pakistan.
So, when we when the term started, that was in August of 2016, right? So there were like a total of 150 registrations, like the highest that any club got, right?
This was just your club.
Just
150.
Yes,
wow.
That was the highest like that any club got, and we had to like shortlist people because obviously we couldn't like keep everyone, right? Because there's a certain standard that we have to maintain to keep the circulation of like good experience and like good leadership in circulation. So there were people mostly like that signed up for community service, because in Pakistan there's a growing issue that parents are being neglected and like thrown into senior shelters, right? And like children are thrown into orphanages even when they have their parents. So we thought, why not like engage the both communities with each other? Like the elders need like younger citizens, and the younger citizens need the senior citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would like fulfill their emotional needs. Like the senior citizen can like actually teach the younger children, right? The orphans, and the orphans can actually learn a lot from the elders. Like I would love to like sit down and speak to senior citizens, because they have like so many years of experience of in every aspect of your life. That would actually like save you from a lot of like making a lot of mistakes. So yeah, like in arts, we usually like use like stuff that is around the house that we don't really use, and like reuse it and like make it into like crazy stuff. And like in science too, like we reuse materials, we reuse motors that are like in our abandoned RC cars, right? Once the tires breaks off, you're like, shoo, but like stay away from me, you're old now, like in the corner of some store. So like yeah, so the motors, the batteries, the adapters, like everything you can think of, like our science team did use that to like make new inventions. Yeah, that is how we like sustainability,
environmental considerations.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of wrapping up our time together, I'd like to know from all the people that you've met here across the 35 countries, which country are you now most excited to go visit? Hopefully.
So I'm
Clara?
going to start off by saying both Pakistan and Kosovo. I had the chance to talk with these two over the last couple of days and get into some really good conversations and dialogues, and I am super excited to visit both of your countries in the future. So,
Thank you, Clara.
It's really hard to choose because there's so much diversity, there's so much choices. One day I'd love to visit them all, but to be completely honest, I've always wanted to visit New York. Because I don't know if there's any there's no one from
no one from New York State here.
Yeah. So
New York City in particular?
New York City in particular. Because Pristina is actually very like, there's a lot of buzz happening there where I live. So it's the capital of Kosovo. We have one of the youngest populations in the world, and people are moving all the time. There's a lot of energy. There's always something happening, and as soon as I go and visit another city, I feel really bored because I siphon that energy and use that for myself. And New York City is like the ultimate version of that. So I think that I would bloom, over there. So that's
And lots of energy flowing in that
yes,
city.
that's definitely on my list.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might have a long list for countries to visit, but to be very honest, I want like other countries to visit Pakistan because that's very rare. Like I want like the summit we're having here. I want this to happen in Pakistan someday because that would not only like eradicate the image that Pakistan already has in the world, right? Which is not at all that it seems in the media. But it also like it also spreads peace that would like really help Pakistan in its like going forward. And yeah,
I actually agree with that too. Sorry, from Kosovo's perspective too, because a lot of people see Kosovo still as a conflict zone.
Yeah,
but war has been over for 18 years. Everything is blooming over there, so buildings are being built, jobs are being created. We have, as I mentioned, one of the youngest populations in the world. Cafes everywhere, nightclubs everywhere. So I don't know. I just love people. If people could also visit my country more, and that I think that would just open them up to more experiences. The Balkans in general have amazing scenery and amazing food. Like everyone who visits goes back with that word of mouth marketing to all of their friends that they have to go to the Balkans.
So come to Kosovo.
Come to Kosovo.
come to Pakistan. I want to thank you all very much for joining us on this panel. And you know, it's just a mere YouTube stream, but there are youth from all over our state and potentially the nation that are having the opportunity to hear from someone from Pakistan and Kosovo, maybe for the very first time.
Yeah.
And we hope that through these conversations and these recordings that maybe it will inspire a youth to come visit Kosovo or Pakistan in the future. Thank you all very much for joining us on our YouTube stream. We'll be back next month with CultureCast. This is Dustin and Clara.